As you know, quite a bit of learner corpus research is based on overuse and underuse uh, of certain features by the learners, and some kind of comparison among one learner group with another, or compare with native speakers. So let's, as a way of getting into that, try a keyword analysis where we look at Chinese learners of English compared with native speakers. So let me just step through that kind of revision. Um, so let me use the English native speakers as the kind of reference corpus. And here they're writing essays about students should have a part-time job, or smoking should be banned in public places. The same kind of topics as the Chinese learners are writing about. We have some kind of noise in showing up here. I hope it doesn't affect the results too much. So we go and do the corpus, get the corpus frequency data. Let me just check the options are okay. Yeah. Okay, so let's do the frequency order. And then we see that 2 is the most common word, which is kind of odd. And then and 2 is in the rubric might have some effect. Anyway, so we go and save that. And I keep trying to do this, so I'm stacking up the files here. We call this ENS3. Save that. And then we're going to unload this corpus, load the Chinese learners of English, load that corpus. Again, the files load. There's a few hundred files of each, 300 files for each group, and the essay is quite short. Okay, should be done in a second. Okay, so quite a number of files there. So then we do the frequency list again. Okay, and then we have the being the most common word, kind of more normal. And so now we do the corpus comparison. It's going to ask where the file is for the reference corpus. And that's here. So we click that and we get the big, messy table. And then we want to sort. We want to sort on log likelihood. And then we want the big numbers at the top, so we choose descending. Do OK. So here we have the sort down here. Percentage change showing the difference. The numbers aren't showing up quite properly here. Okay, so looking at this, we see the most distinctive word is actually we, and the Chinese learner using we more often. And the second word there is Japan, and the English native speakers are using Japan more often. So I take that to be just something about the topic, that they're talking about Japan in some way. The English learners, English native speakers are always using I more often than our. So we kind of will look down this and just, we notice that the wood is also being used more often by the English native speakers. So it's up to you to the interpretation of this. I mean, here we have society, public, and smoking, kind of content words. I mean, and society is being used more by the Chinese learners. I mean, is that something cultural, or is it kind of translation, or but there's something there probably, but it's perhaps less important, or not really to do with language learning. And similarly with public and smoking, maybe there's repetition of the rubric by the Chinese learners, but again, not so interesting. Okay, so the interpretation is kind of up to you. What is interesting, what to look for. I mean, this might be interesting that the wood is being used more by the native speakers, and can is being used more by the by the Chinese learners of English. So it's possible that the Chinese learners of English are overusing you can. Whether that's a problem or not is another issue. So here we're just doing descriptive to find out what kind of usage is. People also being overused by the Chinese learners. Again, that might be interesting. Where you talk about the public, or something like that. So I think just it's up to you then what to look for. This is just giving you some clues as to what might be interesting. It's up to you to kind of scroll down and find out what sort of things you might be looking at. And talking about might, there's might, which again is being used more by the native speakers. So, typically you're going to get can being overused by learners and a wider range of modals being used by native speakers. Let's just look at the we, just as one example. So then we're going to follow up with the concordance search and see how it's being used. So this is the Chinese learners. Okay, when we finish our study, the ability we have, we can do various things. Look at the colloquial frequency for that. Okay, we can, we should, and as. Okay, so there's a bit a kind of thing. So as we, and I think that might be as we know, or something like that. So can and should. So we can is quite common. That, when, what, if. Okay. So let's sort these on the. Let's do first left and then maybe first right. Okay. All in all, also we should. We can, as we all know. As we all know. Okay. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? I mean, as we all know, where's that coming from? And maybe it's something you know better than me. I mean, is that something that's related to L1, or is it something that's in the textbook? This looks like it's being used by a lot of the learners. So there's something going on there. If we have, so the users say the we, kind of this plural more distant rather than the use of I. Let's just unload that and look at the usage by the English native speakers. So again, we just look for we. Very few examples. Only 264. Let's just check the collocates. So we still have we can and should, and have, but this is being used much less frequently. So the way you refer to people or society, just less use of we. So if we do the same sort, first left and first right. I believe we should. If we do, so that was a similar usage. If we do something, And so we should, yeah, we can, we have, and so on. I think we should, you know, but none of that, as we all know, that use of the phrase. Okay, so I think that gives a sense of, how to get started using keyword analysis to find potential items of interest and then following up. So the advantage of the keyword analysis is that it is showing you what might be interesting to look at, right? We don't have to choose something to research for and can't guess what to search for. We can use the keyword analysis, which will give us some clues as to what might be interesting.